I like salad. Do you like salad?
Hi, I'm Ho Shin Ho. I'm living in Vancouver, BC, Canada, unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'm an immigrant to Canada from China.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea, coming to you from Victoria, but more importantly known as unceded Akwesasne territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, and I am an immigrant from the United States of America. And you're listening to
Canadian Salad.
Canadian Salad.
All right.
Oh, well, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us into your homes, your ears, your car. Maybe, I don't know, you're going to the bathroom, you're having a listen to this podcast, wherever you are. Just thanks for bringing us into your life. I am here not with my typical friend, Hoshin, the other host of this show, but I am here with a very dear friend of mine, someone I've known since my first years in Canada. I've invited Álvaro Moreno, my friend, to talk about music and music as its impact on us as immigrants who are navigating a new world, a new life, and what that looks like and how does music play a part. So, Álvaro, thank you so much for joining me.
Andrea, what a pleasure and honor to be here with you today.
Oh, the honor is mine. We met back in, was it 2016?
Around 2016, yes.
Yeah.
That was when we were working with the Syrian project.
Yes.
Supporting the Syrian refugees arriving.
Yes.
Vancouver Island, yes.
Yeah. And you were my boss. And I remember...
I was your co-worker, not your boss.
Well, you oversaw my work performance. But one thing I remember about you, not only you were always willing to take my questions, but you always had amazing chocolate in your drawer. And anytime I would come into your meeting, you'd be like, do you want some chocolate? So sometimes I didn't have a question. I just needed some chocolate. I hope you know, just confession right now.
I understand why you came all the time now.
That's why, the chocolate. So, but Álvaro, maybe you could give the audience, maybe just introduce yourself, maybe your name, or, I mean, we already know your name, but maybe say it how you normally say it, because I know I probably didn't say it right. How long you've been in Canada, and aspects of your own culture that you love.
Well, my name is Álvaro Moreno. And there's the story about my name associated to my immigration, my coming to Canada as a refugee.
Okay.
But I may want to tell it real quick.
Yes, please.
In Spanish, it was my first time leaving the country at 28. In Spanish, my name is pronounced in a formal scenario. They give you complete name, Álvaro Mauricio Moreno Peña.
Oh, okay.
Right? And here
That's
in
beautiful.
Canada, my name was shortened to Álvaro Moreno. Well, I'm sitting in the government office for my very first appointment as a refugee, and there's a whole bunch of people from different nationality, and I don't speak any English, just the basic high school English. And so I see people's names are being called, and people stand up and, okay, I get it. I will hear my name, and then I stand up and go to the reception. A person calling, I hear different names. All of a sudden the receptionist walks towards me and says, Álvaro Moreno, you come.
Oh, no. So she had a different name for you already, and you were like, that's not me. I'm not standing up.
She was calling my name in an English accent, and I never heard it before in my life, and I just didn't realize until
oh my gosh.
pick me up in person. What an embarrassment.
Oh gosh.
Anyways, that's my name. I came to Canada at 28. That was in 1985. September 9, 1985.
Aspects of your own culture that you love. Yeah.
Right. Well, definitely, when people think about culture, sometimes they go to the food or the drinks or the arts. I go to the emotional feeling of warmth that I appreciate from my culture. That's what I miss the most. Every time I'm in Latin America, I feel that human
That's beautifully said. Would you say that that has some part to do with belonging, or maybe at least feeling at rest with who you are? Because I mean, you were born there, so there's a lot of rest, I imagine, in
Yeah.
going back.
There's definitely a deeper sense of belonging because
Yeah.
you're very close to the people around you. And that sensation of support, of love,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely something that I miss coming here.
Mm.
But at the same time, I came to learn that it's a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
Canadian culture is a bit colder compared to Salvadoran culture, and I had to adapt
Yes.
to that.
Yeah. And we don't mean just snow.
Yeah, that's right.
There's more to that. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of people can resonate with that
Right.
same warmth for sure. This will be airing after National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is June 21st. And I think a lot of us who are Indigenous to our countries of origin, music is a part of that indigeneity. It's a part of self-expression and identity. So could you share briefly just your history with music? Do you play an instrument? When did you start learning to play? Do you even play now? I don't know. I mean, I do, but I'm just,
Or you may not know that music has been a part of my life since I remember.
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, I remember singing all the time, especially when it rained torrentially. In tropical countries,
Really?
you have that background noisy rain, and then I could feel I could sing out loud because no one
Oh.
will say, "Shut up."
Was
So
it only when it rained or was it other times?
I sang all the time.
Yeah.
And I did get a shut up or go
Oh, no.
somewhere else sometimes, but mostly I
Oh.
got support.
Mhm.
And sometimes my parents would invite me to, when they had a visitor, well, come and sing that song that you like.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I would sing
Oh.
it, right?
Yeah.
But when we were alone at home, sometimes I would be told to shut up or to go to
Oh.
another room. Yeah.
So you
So,
love singing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a long history of relationship with music. My first instrument was a harmonica, which I
Oh,
got as a gift from my mom around age 7 or 8.
okay.
And my dad brought a guitar,
Okay.
which I loved, and I was playing it all the time.
Around
And
7 and 8 as well, or was
8,
that later?
10, yes,
Okay.
around that
Okay.
age.
Okay.
And then my brother, who is 2 years younger than me, was very jealous of me taking the guitar really quickly, right? And during a fight, the poor guitar suffered the consequences,
Oh no.
and it was broken during a
Oh,
fight with my brother.
no. Oh shoot. It didn't go over the other person's head, like in those
Yes,
cartoons where you're
something
in.
like that.
Oh no.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that was the end of my childhood guitar experience until teenage years. I think it was after my heart got broken for the first time, it's around age 16.
Oh, that's
A
so
friend of
young.
mine, a friend of mine lent me a guitar, and it was such a relief, such a
Wow.
consolation,
Wow.
and it brought so many new emotions and pleasures that I recovered.
Wow.
And I've been
Yeah.
playing the guitar since then.
Wow. And was singing also cut off, or did it stay?
No, I continue singing and
Yeah. Okay.
accompany myself with the guitar.
Okay.
And yeah, it was great. It's every gathering with friends will have to have music
Mhm.
and dance. That's something that is
Oh.
typical in Latin America too.
Mm.
There is no party that ends up in dancing to salsa music in the record or with friends playing music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did that. Yeah,
That's fun. So you play now in Canada?
I used to.
Okay.
When I came to Canada in Edmonton, there was a Salvadoran band that played for fundraising events.
Oh, okay.
And they needed a bass player. And I said, I don't play the bass, but I play the guitar. If you let me learn the bass, I'll be happy to play with you. And they say, sure, come to our rehearsal. I thought they would never call me, but they did.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
So I went to the rehearsal. They showed me this is the bass. Whoops, it's heavy.
Was it the big upright bass or was it an
No, it
electric
was
bass?
an
Okay.
electric bass guitar. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
And so I started plucking it with my thumb and figuring out the rhythm and the beat. And they just welcomed me, and I learned real quick. And I started
Wow.
playing with the band
Wow.
for fundraising parties in Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about in Victoria currently? Do you still play for bands or
Yes,
in
not
bands?
anymore
Okay.
in public.
Okay.
But when I came to Victoria in 1993, there was a Latin band called Cumbia, Kumbia,
Okay.
and they knew the bass player.
Another
And
bass player.
I said, I'll play the bass.
I know how.
Tell me your music, and if I like it, I'll join you.
Ooh, it's flipped this time.
Oh, I'm joking.
If you
I said,
sound
well,
good. No.
if you an audience, and I play the bass. And, okay, sure. They called me.
Wow.
And when they saw that I was familiar with Latin rhythms and the repertoire for dance parties and so on, they gave me the job.
Wow. Wow.
And I played with them since then.
Wow.
1993. Our last performance was February 14, 2020.
2020. Oh, yeah, the pandemic. Oh,
Yes,
gross.
the pandemic.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Yeah. I think music is a relationship in many ways, right? It is something that is a part of you, but also finds its ebbs and flows. My next question, kind of in relation to that, integration, as you know, of course, is a process that takes time. Lots of patience. There's joy. There's pain. And it's always ongoing. What role has music played in the process of your integration into Canada?
I think a very important role. One of the first things I did when I arrived in Edmonton was to look for a secondhand guitar, and I found one in a what they call a flea market.
Okay, yes.
And I paid $25 for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, that was my very first guitar in Canada.
Wow.
So yeah, it was definitely a great source of hearing, because I came to Canada under very difficult conditions as a refugee.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I played the guitar and sang, I felt at peace with myself. Sometimes I would be playing at 3 in the morning and singing out loud in one of those apartment buildings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
You can hear everything. But I wasn't aware of that, right? Coming from Salvador, where you can sing out loud anytime.
Right.
One day I hear knocking on my door, and I see a neighbor downstairs, right, with a piece of cake. Say, hi, it was my birthday, and I bought you a piece of cake. Oh, my name is such and such. Oh, come on in. And so he came in, had a coffee. He was an immigrant from Egypt, working as a cab driver. And then he said, by the way, I noticed that you sing and play the guitar. Yes, I do. I said, yes, because sometimes I hear you really early in the morning and you wake me up. Oh my gosh. But what a gentle way of complaining, right?
Sure, with cake. Gosh,
With
if all
cake.
complaints could be with cake, I would take a complaint. Yeah.
Why do you
Wow.
think I had chocolate in my office?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that
gosh.
from that moment on, I stopped, yowling out my Latin songs at 3 in the morning.
Oh, for you in processing kind of, well, just culturally, just everything being so different, did you find that music was, in that sense, a way to release and to connect back to who you are and who you were in a land of strangers?
Absolutely. Yeah, playing music was my virtual connection. Back then, we didn't have virtual reality or anything like that.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
The day when you receive paper letters after 2 months of having been written.
Right.
So, but yeah, music was my connection to my home.
Mm-hmm.
And the music that I play reminded me of home folk music from Latin America, ranchera from Mexico, boleros from Cuba and Colombia.
Mm.
And so, yeah, it was definitely a big connection, a big spiritual connection.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to spirituality, I would dare to say that when I'm playing music, it's like going into a spiritual trip.
Mm.
That's how I feel it.
Mm. Yeah. Just a little bit out of this world while being in it, in a sense.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
connection that you establish with the other musicians too, right?
Mm.
And later on, as a performer, we also learn that there is an energy exchange between the audience and the musicians
For
that
sure.
that raises the level of energy,
Mm.
and that's the kind of spiritual feelings and emotions
Mm-hmm.
that I feel I can get from music. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, in El Salvador, what are the musical styles called? Are there a few Salvadorian genres or bands that are really
Mm.
famous that would distinguish El Salvador from most of the world?
Not necessarily. I think it's Central American culture was very much influenced by Mexican culture.
Okay.
Very much influenced by Mexican
Mm.
culture during
Mm.
the golden years of the arts in Mexico, early 60s.
Mhm.
There were many musicians that were famous all over Latin America, and they influenced a lot music in Central America. We do have local musicians who have tried to develop a local folk
Okay.
folkloric sound,
Yeah.
but it's very much Latin. Some of my French musicians develop a case for autochthonal instrument, indigenous instrument, like small drums, and they were experimenting a fusion of modern folk music
Oh, wow.
using indigenous instruments.
Mhm.
But other than that, there's a lot of common sounds and styles that
Okay.
include folk ballads,
Mm.
boleros, cumbia, dance music, salsa, merengue,
Mhm.
and of course Mexican rancheras, Cuban boleros. Lately, of course, later the rock in Spanish became very popular. I'm talking
Okay.
about maybe it started around the 60s,
Okay.
and so many Latin bands developed rock music in Spanish,
Okay.
and yeah, it became very popular too.
Yeah. Did you gravitate towards rock yourself, or?
I did that. But there was a
Little
time when I wanted to have an electric guitar because I loved that wah 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 wah, the wah wah
The
sound.
wah wah
But
sound?
there
Yeah.
was no chance of me getting an electric
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were too expensive, and my
Yes.
dad wasn't much in support of that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, rock music in Spanish became very
Okay.
popular, very strong,
Okay.
and of course
Yeah.
that continues today.
Had you heard of, I'm going to use air quotes, Canadian music? In El Salvador, had you heard of any Canadian bands? And I'm just trying to think of any Canadian
Yeah.
artists around that time when you were in El Salvador.
Yes, but I didn't know he was Canadian.
Oh,
What's his name? There
okay.
was a song that was played in the radio.
Okay.
Later on, pop music from North America also became big in
Right.
Central America and the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we did hear pop music like, the Beatles or Rolling Stone and all the American bands like the Eagles and America and so on. Gordon
Yes.
Lightfoot.
That's the Canadian artist.
There was a song by Gordon Lightfoot that I
Gordon
can't remember
Lightfoot.
which one
Okay.
is. But it was,
Okay.
yeah, nice song. But it was
Okay.
until later on, after years in Canada, I
Yeah.
learned he was Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So there wasn't when you came to Canada, you're like, oh, this is Canadian music? Because you probably at that time had already heard a lot of it through the radio or.
And began to recognize Canadian artists, famous Canadian artists like Who. I think it was a Canadian band. The Who.
Okay. Okay.
Or Guess Who, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and others whose faces I see in front of me saying hello, but I don't remember their names.
Right. Sure. The Tragically Hip, were you a fan of them?
Tragically hip. Yeah.
Hmm. We touched a little bit about how music creates a spirituality, but also a connection to maybe parts of your past and your childhood. How does music, when you play different styles that are more reflective of El Salvador music culture, how does music keep and preserve your culture, heritage, and traditions, even though you haven't lived in El Salvador for quite some time?
I think that the fact that I never received formal education in music
Mm,
also helped me try to expand my understanding of different genres of music and to
yeah.
appreciate it. It became part of my appreciation of culture. I would say that music is an international language. We all understand, even
Yeah.
though there are some accents or styles that we don't really
Yes.
understand, right? And like, for example, Indian music is
Mm,
so complicated,
mm,
that it's hard to understand, but I learned to enjoy it
yeah.
by listening to it and by
Hmm.
sharing with my friends, by looking friends who play that different kind of music and so on.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, because it is tied to story, music. If it's not your own story, it might be the story of ancestors. It might be the songs that maybe your father sang on his guitar to you as kids. Just listening to you say that when you came to Canada, you had to adapt in so many different areas just to make it
Mm.
work. Is music that one of the few threads that keep that connection to your heart language and to your heart culture?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think all my friends know how important music is
Yeah.
for me, even though I'm not
Hmm.
a academically formed musician. And
Yeah.
sometimes I became more familiar with Canadian music. Uh, I learned to play some of those songs, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it was not affecting who I am as a person, but
Right.
adding a new set of songs to my repertoire.
Right. That it was adding to the pre-existing person that you were, but it
Mm.
wasn't taking it away. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Just a few more questions, Alvaro. This is
Okay.
I love this. There's a band called Making Movies. I
Yeah.
stumbled upon them researching for this podcast.
Yeah.
Enrique and Diego Chi. They're two Panamanian brothers who share their cultural heritage and activism for indigenous rights through music. And they made a short documentary about their experience as immigrants. They're actually out of Kansas. The documentary that they made, they titled it Music is an Immigrant. And that really struck me because I think sometimes I get in this mindset, even immigrating from the States, where I've left so much behind, right? That piece is back there. It's not here. And there is truth to that. There is a lot we leave behind, but there's a lot we bring with us. That concept of music being an immigrant, I mean, would you agree in that sense that music immigrated with you when you came to Canada?
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I wouldn't limit to music is an
Yeah.
immigrant. I think culture is an immigrant,
Mm.
especially in Canada, right, where we have a better space than in other countries
Mm-hmm.
to embrace our culture and keep it. So yeah, music is an immigrant. I saw the video. You sent me a
Yeah.
copy of the video,
Yeah.
and it's just like my life story.
Mm.
Some of the songs that we play are originals,
Mm-hmm.
and they address topics of immigration,
Mm.
isolation, repression, oppression, and so on.
Mm.
Because it is part of our life experience, and we
Right.
want to express that through our music too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have with Cumbia, we had two CDs that all included original music. A couple of years ago, I put together a little sample of musical idea that I have come up with
Yeah.
through the years
Mm-hmm.
with the intention of having that as a legacy for my daughter, who is also a musician.
Oh, yes.
She's a great
Yes.
singer. And
Yeah.
so my intention is, okay, here's your dad's crazy idea. See what
Oh.
can you do with them. Or she will go, "Eh."
Oh, Dad. Okay, whatever. Yeah. That's true. I think culture as an immigrant, culture is always adjusting and always shifting and evolving, but also making things sacred as it goes too. And I think that's something that just on a bigger scale, I was at a very micro level, like music is an immigrant, but looking at culture as an immigrant, I feel like that encompasses a lot more to the immigrant journey and to the immigrant experience, whether you immigrate to Canada or to any other part of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see other artists having the same experience, like painters. Right?
Mm.
I know a couple of painters, one from Guatemala, one from Colombia, who live here in Victoria,
Mhm.
and they continue to paint their original ideas, and they
Mhm.
begin to embrace local ideas too. One of them is
Mhm.
painting now Canadian forests, Canadian fauna, and it's
Mm.
a beautiful combination of
Yeah.
techniques and styles that make it
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
same happens with music, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we bring our musical ideas or notions and we create something new surrounded by this culture,
Yeah.
we bring that in this
Mhm.
Canadian creation because I live here for more than half of my life now,
Mm-hmm.
but it has many elements of my musical
Mm-hmm.
life experience.
Yeah. Culture doesn't have to conflict with one another. And I see how music or even the arts, language, how much language, even in the English language, is a fusion of so many cultures and languages. It's exciting to
Yeah.
see how that grows, but how you're preserved along those lines. So,
Yeah, and the other element is cross-generational music, right? Because
yeah.
throughout the years, you may have had this experience too, your parents or grandparents saying, I can't believe that you listen to that crap.
Get off my lawn. Yeah.
I listen to the music of young people now in Latin America, and I say,
Yeah.
that is not
Oh.
music.
They're banging a pot on the
Yes.
wall. That's not music. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, it evolves, it changes, it grows. My last question for you, Alvaro, is we've heard a lot about your appreciation for music, but what would you say? What is it about music that celebrates you? This is maybe a really dumb question, but if I could be summed up in a music style, or if there was a sound or a melody that I heard, I'd be like, that's me. That's Álvaro Moreno. That's my little line right there. Is there anything like that?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a Brazilian musician that I like very much. His name is Caetano Veloso,
Okay.
and he had a large influence in me. Yeah, I really like his style to the point that I began imitating his guitar playing.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Even when I'm playing a little song, for example, and I love her,
Mm.
it sounds like I'm playing a Brazilian song, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, thank
So
you. Thank you.
my
Yes.
friends started calling me Álvaro Meloso,
Oh, no.
imitating the Caetano Veloso.
Yes. Yeah.
And it means Meloso means mellow.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a good fusion. I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that probably will be my particular way of interpreting songs
Yourself.
that are pop songs or
Yeah.
rock songs.
Yeah.
It's always that Brazilian sound and rhythm that some people may like,
Yeah.
some people may not, but I love it.
Yeah. No, that's all that matters. Sometimes it's if that's what brings you joy and that connects you, that is the music that is for you. So, yeah. Do you
We
have any?
should sing. We should sing, and I love her when we meet next time.
Oh, I would love that. And you can see my guitar behind me
I
that
see it. It's
sadly is collecting
beautiful.
dust. I have not
Collecting
picked
dust.
her up.
Ooh,
Yeah,
her.
I know. She's
It's
sad.
beautiful.
It is. It is.
Ah.
Yeah. So that'll be our next meeting. That would be really nice.
Right.
Well, Alvaro, just thank you so much for sharing your heart, a window into a language that can only be maybe felt, heard, or expressed through song. It's something that is very, I know, it communicates things that nothing else can. And from the immigrant experience and, integrating into new sounds and things like that, it's something that means a lot and is very sacred. So I just want to thank you for that conversation and for sharing your heart with us today.
Thank you for having me, Andrea. It's been a
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes. So before you go, we have to do a Canadian salad pop quiz. This is tradition, where I get to ask you a question that you don't know the answer. And if you have a question for me, music related, you can ask and I'll probably get it wrong, but that is the fun, dramatic ending of every episode. So, would you like me to go first so you can maybe think of something, or do you have something that you'd like to ask?
Okay, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Who is your favorite Canadian musician?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, so this is the terribleness about my immigration experience. I don't know who the Canadian ones are. But I have heard of Nelly Furtado, and
Oh, yeah.
I actually, I like her stuff. I'm not a big Celine Dion or Justin Bieber person. But I do want to explore, that's one aspect of my immigration I haven't yet. So, but that's a good question. How about you? Who's your favorite right now?
Oh, a dear friend of ours passed away a few years ago, and
I'm sorry.
we used to get together to play Canadian and American folk music.
Okay.
And he had one that he really loved from this person, Gordon Lightfoot. And so we
yeah.
played for his memorial. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, yeah.
We
Okay.
played that song. It's a beautiful song, Gordon Lightfoot. The name of the song I forget, right? But he's got a lot of really beautiful music.
Okay. I will check him out. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to learn more of the culture I'm in now.
Absolutely.
All right. So my question to you is, Alvaro, according to Statista, May 17th, 2024, what are the top two genres, or maybe just one? What's one top genre of music in Canada?
Song
Genre. So style of
or
music.
genre?
Yeah.
I would say it's folk music.
Okay. I'm going to give it to
Is
you.
it down in the down?
Yeah, it's there's two. So rock, alternative, indie, which I'm going to put
absolutely.
folk with indie for sure. So
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding. Yay,
I
you
think
got
that's
it.
the one. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
one. Yeah.
The other one they rated was pop, adult, contemporary music. So I have no idea what that means. So
Yeah.
but we'll include the link on our website. Maybe you'll get a better understanding of what that is. So, but
So
thank
what's
you
the
again.
question?
Oh, that was the question.
Oh, that was the question.
That was it. That
I'm
was
sorry.
it. It was a lame question.
I wouldn't know anything about contemporary music, though. I listen to the
Yeah.
radio sometimes when I'm in the car just for curiosity,
Yeah.
but I don't recognize any of the.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
listen to
still
80s
stuck
rock.
in my music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of jazz. I love
yeah.
Miles Davis. I
Ooh,
listen to classical music.
Yes.
But current pop music, I don't
Yeah.
listen to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
No. It's for the youths, Alvaro. It's for the youths.
Yeah.
Those
That's
young people.
true. Young
No.
people.
Exactly.
How can they listen to that?
Oh, I know. It's not even music.
Oh, it's horrible.
Well, thank you again.
Very
and
welcome.
we'll have you on the show again, I'm sure. So,
Excellent.
yeah, really appreciate it. And thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to, go to our website. We'll have lots of links for the artists that we mentioned. Of course, the quiz links for the not so great question that I asked. And if you want to share with us maybe your favorite music from your home country or style of music that you just really feel seen and feel like you belong. Maybe that warmth that you feel when you listen to a kind of music. We'd love to hear that from you. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you, Álvaro. Bye. Canadian Salad is written and produced in British Columbia, Canada by Hoshin Ho and Andrea McCoy. Theme music is by Naver Avatyan from Pixabay.
This has been a good Drinklin production.